Having a child is a wonderful moment. Children are scientists from the moment they're born. As they waggle their heads, arms and legs about, more or less at random, they slowly work out the difference between correlation of movement and causation. Working out causation from correlation is the basis of pretty much all empirical science, and your baby does it naturally. Let's see what science your baby learns in the first 2 years of life and how its brain changes forever. You can help your baby learn to move and see by giving it a mobile. I don't mean a mobile phone. I mean a hanger with different shapes in primary colours suspended on string. A bell and mirror will spice up the sensory feedback. You would do this for your parrot, so do it for your baby. The primary colours thing is important. When our eyes focus, blue light bends more than red light. So blue light is in front of the focal point where everything is in focus, and red is behind. Long story short, about half of babies learn to use the out of focus colour to focus very rapidly. The other half don't. They shift their focus one way, then the other, until they get it right. Whichever way your baby learns will stay with it for life. It will become part of its talents. You have no control over this. Just let your baby do its own thing and enjoy how it grows. Its talent for focusing its eyes using a learned spectral analysis of the incoming light makes a difference to what professions your grown-up child will be suited for. You might not have had sniper down on your child's bingo card of life, but it is a valid profession. When your baby is born, it uses an inbuilt spectral analysis of sound to discriminate all of the phonemes that occur in human languages. It sounds complicated. It is complicated, but it means your baby can distinguish all of the speech sounds that occur in every human language. But it soon stops being able to tell them apart unless someone speaks to it regularly using those sounds. If you want your child to be bilingual or better, trilingual, then birth is a good time to start. If you and your spouse have different first languages, then stick to the rule, one parent or one language. I don't have any children of my own, but my nephew and many of my nieces are bilingual because they had a French mother and a Scottish father who only spoke to the children in their own first language. The children grew up believing all men speak English and all women speak French, though they soon grew out of this misconception. Under and overgeneralization is completely normal as your child develops, even if it can be a little socially awkward at times. If you're wealthy enough, hire a nanny or someone else with a different first language to make your child bi or trilingual. Being multilingual is the natural state of people. The majority of people are multilingual. Being multilingual protects against dementia, so your child will have a longer, productive life and will be able to talk to more people. Both are a great benefit to any scientist. A lot of research is carried out in multilingual teams, and other languages are becoming more important in scientific publishing. I published my research in English, but it became popular after Walter Gomide, a Portuguese speaker from Brazil, sent an email and we struck up a correspondence. Pretty soon we were speaking on Skype, then we met in Brazil. I don't speak Portuguese, but Walter speaks 5 languages, including English. Now, Brazil is the world leader in transmathematics. By the way, I am fluent in Mandarin. Together with English, I can speak to 20% of the people in the world. I'm heading toward fluent in German, with French lagging behind. My Akka, Arabic, Cantonese, Cornish, Esperanto, Greek, Hindi, or is that Urdu, Irish, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Lallans, Latin, Polish, Portuguese, Russian, Spanish, Swedish, Welsh, and Tokipona are rubbish. Basically, if I've stepped foot in your country or eaten in your restaurant, I've learned a word or two of your language. Maybe one day I'll persuade Mandarin speakers to take up transmathematics. And another thing, if you are wealthy, now is a good time to pay your baby a wage, so it builds up independent wealth and can be an independent scientist when it grows up. It's important to vaccinate your baby at the proper time. This reduces the chance it will catch a disease that reduces its IQ or, in the worst case, kills it. Vaccines are important for scientists too. Some medical and biological scientists work with pathogens. We're all grateful for their work, but we don't want them bringing their work home or spreading it on public transport. International science is a big thing too. Many scientists go to safe places and don't need extra vaccines. Some of us go to scary places and have arms like pincushions. I remember getting 4 vaccinations at the same time, 2 in each arm. If you live in the United Kingdom, your general practitioner can arrange expert advice on what vaccines to get. Some vaccines are not needed if you spend a short time in a scary part of the world. Some prophylactics are not needed if you spend a long time in a scary part of the world. It's really complicated. All the scientists I've ever known, especially the medical and biological ones, take advice on vaccination and prophylaxis. And believe me, you are mighty glad we do. Feeding your baby properly is very important. I'm not about to give you health advice, but I've put a link in the description below to a National Health Service article on infant nutrition. Broadly speaking, babies need a higher proportion of fat and a lower proportion of salt than adults. Fat is really important. I remember sitting in a high chair eating bacon. My mother wanted to cut off the fat, but I didn't want her to. I gobbled it up and signed to her that I wanted to eat the fat she had cut off of her own bacon. I don't recall how the conversation went after that. Toddlers need fat to provide the energy to grow. Babies under the age of 2 also need fat to grow the myelin sheaths around the neurons in their brains and bodies. If you don't give your baby enough fat, you will seriously reduce its IQ, and losing IQ points is bad for scientists. I'll make a video about the importance of IQ for scientists, so subscribe to Transmathematica and hit the notification bell so you know when it comes out. By the age of 2, your baby's brain is almost completely myelinated, and that changes the way its memory works. After the age of 2, your baby probably won't remember anything that happened before the age of 2.